Evening all, and welcome to episode 35 of Kerbalism. Now in the last episode we managed to successfully harvest food from the station. It finally has a purpose. Hurrah, that contract is complete. But we also sent Valentina and Milma to Minmus to complete some other contracts we had. So let's pick up where we left off and see how well they can fare. Okay, we're coming down nice and gently here. Using the thruster limiter on the engine is a really good idea. And ooh, we bounced, but we should be okay. Stop. And there we are. We are down. We have a successful landing on Minmus. And look, would you look at that? The engine. It's actually still there. It's still attached to the bottom of the craft. Wow. So, right. Let's turn off the SAS and find out whether we fall over or not. I don't think we will. It's not a big slope, but nope. So, Valentina, out you get. We need an EVA report on the surface and other bits and pieces. So, okay. I really don't want you to smash that solar panel. So I'm going to go back into the craft and put that one away. In fact, I'll put them all away because they're not doing anything at the moment. We've got plenty of power, so right, down you go. I really wish I could just turn on your... Ah, there we are. Right, so there are two things we need to do. First and foremost, let us plant a flag, because that's important. Mission complete. My old logo. Second Minmus landing. Oh dear, my typing is awful. Second Minmus landing for science and the money, but we won't say that. And then you need to take a surface sample. Is that right? No, you need an EVA report. EVA report, that's the one here. Okay. So, now we need to go to one of the other twos. So, we've got one to the north of us. Okay. That way, apparently. So, turn on your jetpack. You don't have any more propellant. Of course, we used it all up. So, Valentina, you're going to have to go for a bit of a sprint. And Valentina has returned to the craft after collecting the surface sample required with a sudden realization. He has no monopropellant, and the ladder is up there. So, Valentina, can you jump that high? And more importantly, when you do jump that high, can you grab on? It's quite difficult to sort of maneuver here. With the RCS enabled, she walks slower, and for some reason they spin when you do that sort of thing. So grab F. Oh, oh, that was close. She's showing off now. Clearly showing off. Grab, 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 grab. Oh. Oh well. Take two. I really love to know why they spin. But they can grab things from behind them and board the vessel. Excellent. Well done, Valentina. Now, Milma, you do need some form of experience, so you're going to have to go on an EVA. We are going to go down to the other site, the one over there. You just need to do a EVA report. Gracefully falling down there. So, yes, Milma, off we go. And here we are where we need to be. 1.12 kilometers away. That's a long climb. A 20-minute long climb. Wow. So, take your EVA report. Job done. Contract complete. Now we need to do is go home. But you're also going to take a surface sample. Not that we need it. We've got one from down there and from over there. But, yes, you should take a surface sample. And as tempting as it would be to bring the craft to you, because that would be quicker, no, I'm afraid you're going to have to turn around and run back down. And we are finally back. 35 minutes later. Milma, you're home. Welcome back. Well, they're home, but you're back at the spacecraft. Now all you need to do is get into it. So, let's go. Now you're choosing not to do the spin round thing. Interesting. But we jumped too early. Oh, careful. Bonk. Oh no! Oh, somehow we've smashed the solar panel apart, even though it was closed. That's quite interesting. But it shouldn't matter, to be honest with you. It shouldn't really matter. We've got plenty of other ones. Let's try this again, shall we? Up. Climb, 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 grab. There we are. Well done. Well done. On board, and there we are. Milma and Valentina are safely back in their craft. Now what we need to do is get them home. Of course, you've seen me do this plenty of times, so you know the drill by now. Which means I'll see you back on Kerbal. And there we have it. Valentina and Milma have returned to Kerbal with that wonderful science from Minmus. The surface samples being the most prominent one there. 156.3 science. Oh, excuse me. Puts us on 364. That's going to be useful for unlocking new things. We're now up to 705,000 credits for doing those wonderful missions. And yes, Milma received her 2 levels, and is ready for greatness. So, with the successful return of all that science, we can unlock some new things. I would really like to get the drills. These would be fantastic. As soon as I unlock them, I can get the moon base going, and I think it would be a success. But that's in the 550 tier. We don't have the science to unlock that, we haven't got the prerequisites for it, and also we can't do the research there because you need to upgrade the science centre first. So, we need to look at some other things. Nuclear engines are something I always like, but I think I'll hold off on them for the minute. The other one was this here, the crossway, to allow the base to expand more than just a long thin line. But again, there's no real point in doing that until I get the drills, because the base, although I could be sending supplies up to it, I kind of want it to be self-sufficient from the get-go. So, that means I could unlock a couple of things here. Flight, new cockpits. We could unlock new reaction wheels and engines and things. There's a couple of batteries and down here, and the giant solar arrays, they would be quite useful. But I think what I'm going to go with is this one here. This one here will give us more science experiments to do. So that would basically allow me to spend science to gain science, and hopefully gain more science. So if we click that, we've unlocked it. And then if we come out of here, we can use our magic science button here to gain ourselves 118.8 science. Excellent, nice and easy. You will notice I've got a new button here, stage recovery. That was suggested by one of my viewers, by Chris Nod again, thank you very much. That's going to help for if I ever go back to doing asparagus, or maybe just generally help keep the cost down, because I'll be able to, rather than fire the rockets off and the boosters just disappear, which is what they normally do in KSB, I can put parachutes on them and have them recovered and get some of the cost back. So yeah, that's going to be useful. However, I was thinking of the station. It needs a bit of love. It's been set up here doing its things. It did fulfill its purpose. It did it did grow the plants, but it's not exactly what I wanted. You see, it just looks a little well, underwhelming, to be honest with you. It's we've got a few problems with solar panels on it and issues with things, but I don't know, it just seems a little small. That's the word I'm after. It's small. We have gained new technology since this went up into orbit. We've got some new things to do. We've got some new science and things unlocked. So I think I want to design a slightly better station, a slightly bigger one, that can take fuel tanks and things to obviously send it on its way. But yeah, what I'm going to do with this one, I'm not entirely sure. And here we have it, the new design. It's larger and it's a bit more modular, I feel. This is called Canisia Station, named after our fallen comrade who got sadly trapped in some doors. One's from something quite like this. So, what does this have on it? It's got a solar array on this side here, which should be linked to the gears, I believe. Yep, there we are. Look at that, all planned. It's got a K&K rocket creation system here. It's got metal storage, it's got rocket parts, which is full, it's got a workshop, it also has the recycler. I'm not actually sure how this works. I think you fly a craft somewhere near it and then it gets churned up and becomes metal, but I'm that's going to be a new thing to do there. On the other side here we have a greenhouse. Open it up, and a workshop, a mobile processing lab. So any chance we do, we can process it here to get a bit more. On this side, we've got a single little docking clamp, which I've actually named the Launchpad Alpha. This is obviously where we're going to build our ships here, and we're going to launch them from there. That's kind of the idea. And here I've got two little pods, little proby things. Aim the camera over there. They're just back to back at the moment. I like having little tugs around. The idea being that when we bring up all the parts, because this obviously won't be launched in one go, that's madness. It will be brought up in sections, and these tugs can come up very early and then grab these sections, which have all got docking ports on the end. You see, all of them got docking ports on the end, with the exception of this one. Don't know how I'm going to dock this one. I figured it out. Yeah, they've all got docking ports on the end, and they can just be put in place by the tugs, making life so much easier. It also allows the tugs to obviously bring ships into range, undock, and go there. Should really put a grabber on one of these, I suppose, although we haven't unlocked that yet, so, well, can't do that. Yeah, this is the idea behind it all. It's got plenty of storage. It's got currently 5 Kerbals in it, just purely for testing here. It's not anywhere, it's just sat on the launch pad. But it's with 5 Kerbals in it. It has electric charge, can last for 24 minutes. That's with the greenhouse running, not with the workshop running. I didn't test how long that would last actually, but at 100k orbit, what I want to put it at, it should be about 12 minutes in the dark. So plenty of batteries there. We won't have the problem of it screaming out it's got no electric charge, hopefully. It's got food that lasts 261 days, but again, that's with 5 Kerbals. I don't think I'll ever have 5 Kerbals up here for 200 days, and got a greenhouse which takes about 200 days before it grows. 200 days, and then it can harvest, so we're good for that. Water is 339 days, and oxygen is 289 days. Now, the little trick I have with this is down here in our secret compartment, we've got a chemical plant with water electrolysis. That's the word. That can take. It takes water, I believe it is, and splits it into hydrogen and oxygen, which obviously would mean that we would get more oxygen, so we don't have to worry about everyone dying of not breathing. And water we gain from somewhere else, and for the life of me I cannot remember. Here we are. We have a water recycler right there. The different pods, all these, you've got the cupola, the heat tracker can, the workshop, and the processing lab. They've all got different things set to them. I don't think that should have a scrubber to it, so I'd have to double check these, because I configured them and then reconfigured them and changed them, because the way the modules work inside the pods is that this is all considered one vessel. When it's all together, it's all considered everything. So you could have a scrubber running here, getting rid of the carbon dioxide, and it would get rid of it out of here. It gets magically pumped around, so that's a good thing. But I think I figured out that with the water recycler enabled on this, and I'm sure I had a scrubber and pressure control there, and I'm sure I had, or did I? I cannot remember what I did, but there was a configuration I had. Pretty sure both of these had a scrubber. One had pressure control, one had water. That's got waste. That would have water. There we are. Yes, so that one should have a water recycler in there, and that allows me to recycle water indefinitely, providing this isn't running. When it is running, it drops everything right down. I think we get about 30 days worth of water, so it's bad. But we can top up the oxygen tanks here. That's oxygen there. That one's oxygen as well, and this one here is ammonia, I believe. No, it's nitrogen. But yeah, we can top those up very quickly using the chemical plant, and then we can turn it off again and let everything balance out. So the station is designed for the long run. That's the idea I'm having with it. So that's what I want to do. All I need to do is get it up into orbit, and I think I'm going to change the bottom slightly so we can have maybe 3 of these orange tanks on the bottom. That would probably be better. That way we've got more fuel storage here, so any ships that come up, they can obviously dock here if they want to, although that is a small docking clamp. We've got docking ports around in places. Yes, one there. I might add some docking just ports down here, so ships could come in and dock at the bottom. But yeah, overall, that little docking port there is designed for the probes. That's their home. But yeah, that's it. I think I'll change the bottom up to have more fuel tanks, and then ships can come in, dock to it, fill up with fuel, and then off they go again. I do also want to add a winch. Now I think about it, do with adding a winch here somewhere, because I feel that would be helpful. Maybe on a little probe or something, I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is the idea. So all I need to do is break it down into its stages. You can see it's very modular. It's all got docking ports there. We've got clouds overhead. And yeah, send it up. At least that's the plan. And here is the slightly updated version of the station. As you can see, I've got 4 fuel tanks down the bottom now. That's certainly going to help. They would obviously have other bits added to them when they come up, so yeah, but as long as they've got the docking ports, they can dock. That's not a problem. I have put winches on the bottom of my probes here. Aimed camera, there we are. They've both got winches on the bottom. And also there are, what are they called? Connector ports, that's the ones that the winch plugs into. So a engineer of some description can go attach them to something, and these could tug them back in. So that's always good. A few other changes. I swapped around some of the modules. I decided to put the workshop opposite to the greenhouse to balance the weight. Haven't looked how much that exactly weighs or how much that weighs, but that's what I'm doing. And I've turned the solar panels. There we are. They're probably going to smash. No, they're not. They're going to be alright. I've turned them 45 degrees just to make life a bit easier for my tugs coming back in. I didn't really want them to be sort of straight up, and then they would be very close to where the tugs come here. I will upgrade these to the gargantuan solar panels when we get them, the great big long ones. So we'll probably change from 5 down to 3 and bigger ones, but for the minute, that's pretty much it. There was another. Oh yes, I added another fuel tank. That's right, fuel tank. Another. I added another big pressure tank, and I think I put it to carbon dioxide, but I'm guessing I didn't. Anyway, that one will be carbon dioxide, because then we can gather it and we can transfer that back into oxygen. Now, whilst I was making this episode, I got given some wonderful information from Chris Dodd again, so thank you very much for that document that explains what things do. And in here we have our little chemical plant. At the moment, I've got it set to water I cannot pronounce that word to save my life. Electrolysis. That's the one. I have to read it like 4 or 5 times before it comes to my head. But yes, water electrolysis. That converts water, it breaks it down into hydrogen and oxygen. There is an option called solid oxide electrolysis, which breaks down carbon dioxide back into oxygen. But I don't have that unlocked yet. I'm guessing it's further along in the tree. I couldn't configure this to have it. So at some point we'll be swapping this one out. I'll use Kerbal attachment system, that's the one, to take that out and put in a new one. So that's why I have this tank here, which will be carbon dioxide. So that'll fill up, and it can become even more self-sufficient. That's the idea. But yes, that's the station. However, before I launch this, I feel that I can get a little bit more science. We have unlocked some new science experiments and things, so I may well grab our science plane, which hasn't been out of the hangar for a long time, and fly around Kerbal a bit using our new experiments to learn new and wonderful things. So, I flew around for about an hour in the little Jeb Mark II with the new science experiment on it. Well, I put the atmospheric fluid spectrovariometer and the surface scanning module on there. Another surface scanning module is designed for the ScanSat satellites to give you better readings of how much ore's on our planet, or in a certain biome, sorry. But this one, you can scan when you're on the surface, and you can scan when you're in the air. And it doesn't matter what biome you're in, it just does them 2 scans, and that's it. It can also extract oxygen, carbon dioxide, or nitrogen from the air, so that's that could be useful, I suppose, if you go somewhere that's got an atmosphere. But yeah, essentially we've got a survey scanner, which I believe gives you natural resources. Yes, so that one will give us the ores that are in that are on inside planets or moons or whatever. And then you've got the infrared telescope, which finds asteroids. Now, I don't know a thing about this. I don't know how you use it or anything, but I'm guessing it's got to be on a satellite. And that one's clearly got to be on a satellite. So, to get any more science out of this, I would have to actually be launching a satellite. So, here I am in the VAB with my little scanner craft here. I'm not going to launch the infrared telescope. That is actually part of the Asteroid Day pack, which I've downloaded and added to the Pro. It's you get contracts for finding asteroids, and I'm not sure whether you need to launch it first or not, but that needs to go into a solar orbit, preferably a lower orbit than Kerbal is, so it can detect asteroids coming towards Kerbal. And right now, I don't really feel like trying to send a probe all the way out to solar orbit. It's not that much effort, but it's no, this thing is huge, very, very big indeed. As you can see there, look, it's a bad comparison, but it's big. It's very, very big indeed. So there we go. I can snap onto there. You see, it's huge. So we're leaving that for now. We're doing the scanner, and I thought it's the ideal time to do stage recovery. This shows you how it all works. Basically, I've put parachutes on everything. There's one on each booster, and there's a load around here. The reason for that is that it's all based on a percentage of how likely the stage is to be recovered, I think. Yeah, I think that's how likely it is. Because if I was to change this to say 1 parachute and set it to recalculator, it says no, there's no chance it's going to come down at 21.3 meters a second and crash. So if I then up that to the maximum amount of parachutes I can do and recalculate, it's coming in at 7.8 and has a 91% chance to be recovered. So yeah, that's how that works. You just add parachutes to stages, make sure they deploy at the right time, obviously, so as you detach them, make sure they deploy, and yeah, it recovers it all for you. Sadly, however, the launch of this craft shall have to wait until next time. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you again in the next one, and of course, as always, have fun.